Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Friday the 12th of November 2021. In today's Millwall news, we've got a few stories. I'm going to start with this one. It's an opinion piece from the news at den.co.uk and it says Millwall in better position than in the last two seasons. So are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Interesting. So, Millwall's draw against Derby County last Saturday was their 11th of the season. Was their 17th league game of the season. Last Saturday was their 17th league game of the season and 13th in which they haven't been beaten. Gary outside have lost just 2 of their last 13 matches in the Championship and have won 5 of their last 8. The Lions have come from behind to claim points in 5 games. Fans are back and they have seen their side win 3 matches with goals in the 89th, 90th and 92nd minutes. If he meant it, Jed Wallace has already scored the goal of the season with his shot from wide on the right touchline against Sheffield United in a 2-1 win at Bramwell Lane. He started the campaign by opening the scoring with a 25-yard belter in the sunshine at Loftus Road. At this point in the last 2 seasons, Millwall were 10th and 17th. Millwall are 3 points off 5th place as we approach halfway through the next season next month. So to borrow a line, are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Are you not entertained, Millwall fans? The answer at the moment seems to be, not really. That can partly be explained by the kind of football Millwall play, but what would you expect? This was never going to be a side that was going to play neat, pretty football, triangles and different angles of passing around the pitch. Millwall know what they are and they are staying true to it. In Rowett's preferred 5-2-3 formation, they are mostly a counter-attacking team with 3 muscular centre-backs who are a threat from set pieces and 1 attacking wing-back in Scott Malone, with usually a more conservative option on the other flank. The midfielder's main job is to screen in front and then usually George Saville try to arrive in a box for crosses and cutbacks as Saville did well against the Rams only to fail to find a target. Up front, Millwall have the brilliance of Wallace and the promise of Shea Ojo. If Mason Bennett could stay fit, we all know he can be an explosive player who in the second half of last season regularly added goals to his game. It might sound harsh on Bennett, Kofoe, Matt Smith and Tom Bradshaw, but the central striking position remains an issue. Millwall's top scoring centre forward this season is Afobe with 3. Smith and Bradshaw have a pair of goals each. You have to scroll down a long way to see where that puts them in the goal scoring charts. A lot further than joint 19th, where the Lions' top scorer this season, Wallace, is with 5. Rowett tried to address that last season by bringing in Troy Parrott and Kenneth Zohore on loan from Tottenham and West Brom. Neither worked, the latter failing to score before going back to Spurs in January, and Zohore netting just 3 times. Afobe and Ojo arrived in the summer on loan deals from Stoke and Liverpool, and while they're bright, positive players, their output hasn't really quite been there yet. Ojo has 2 assists so far, but needs to be more of a goal threat. Another problem has been how Millwall have started games. It's as if they've been feeling out opponents, skulking around the ring, throwing out the odd jab. They haven't scored in the first half of a league game at the Den this season. They haven't scored in the first half of a league game at the Den this season. Rowett said after they came from behind in the second half to beat Stoke 2-1 that they thrived on the chaos. Fans would ask, so why can't we do that all the time? The answer is a team can't come out from the first whistle with whirling arms and throwing haymakers. They will eventually be picked off. It's much easier to inject some chaos into the game when you're into the second half already behind and essentially with nothing to lose. There has to be more control, but it's balancing that with what the team are good at, getting after teams and getting the fans at the Den behind them and unsettling the opposition. The other factor in the tetchiness is in some home games could be down to how long supporters were away. They came back last season, though only for 2 games with capacities capped to 2,000. Then they were gone again as the UK entered yet another lockdown. There is therefore perhaps some impatience, willing their team to make up for the fans' lost time watching on iFollow or catching up with highlight shows. I disagree with that. Then Nora simply raised expectations. Millwall finished 8th and 11th, and Rowett has not shied away from saying he demands a top 6 challenge. Well, that's what they are delivering at the moment, and if they can maintain that deep into the season, then there shouldn't be too many complaints. So there you go, an opinion piece. So what's your opinion on this opinion piece? Maybe leave a comment below this video, but I disagree that it's the fans, because of the fans have just come back. I think it's the boring way of playing, not attacking at teams. Not only do we not attack teams, we don't do what other teams do when they don't attack teams, which is pass it around the back, which would be absolutely booed relentlessly at the Den if you try to do that. Anything other than a piss take, with us being, if we were 3-0 up and then we would do it, you could do that at the Den and it would be ole ole. I think we remember when we did that years ago now against Oldham, after we won the league, Mark McGee, and we were 5-0 up and we were passing it around the back because I don't think they wanted to run the score up on them any more than it already was, and it was just going, oh, it was a celebration. Everyone was just ole ole like 20 times in a row because 20 passes in a row. But if you did that, what a lot of teams do, where they pass out from the back from the goalkeeper, they pass it around at the back, they don't even think about going forward. If you did that at Millwall, you would get absolutely fucking crucified. So we don't even do that. We do this kind of pass it forward, then lose the ball, and then have to panic defend, which is what happens. Which is why a lot of the times you'll find, I've been saying in my stats videos, is the first shot on target that the opposition have is a goal. It goes in. It's a goal. This happens time and time again. And that's because we get played on the counter when we're trying to counter them, because we go forward half-heartedly, fucking around with the ball, and then lose it and then have to defend, rush back and try and defend, and we get done on the counter at home when we're not even attacking. If we were going all guns blazing and we got caught on a counter, fair enough, I would understand that, but we don't even do that. Just some shit fucking wayward pass, and then oops, oh, everyone run back to our goal because we're defending now. And the line that had me here was, I repeated it twice, they haven't scored in the first half of a league game at the Den this season. Now, I didn't even realise that, because I've been to the cup games and a few league games. I haven't been to every game. I didn't even realise that. That's fucking disgusting. If you don't realise how fucking shit that is, that you haven't even scored in the first half. It's 45 minutes of football. You know why we haven't scored in the first half? Go back to my stats videos against Derby and the game, the one before against Reading. We have like 3 shots on target in the first half, or 4 shots on target in the first half. And because we're not very good at attacking, we generally need literally about 15 shots on target to get 1 goal. So unless we're incredibly lucky, that's not going to happen when you only have 4 shots on target. It's literally a numbers game. So that's my opinion on this opinion piece. Are you not entertained? No, we're not. We are not. Definitely not entertained. And here's the other thing. So he's going, there won't be many complaints if we get in the top 6. Now, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Right now, I wave a magic wand and I guarantee to you that Millwall will be in the playoffs at the end of the season. Would you take that? I wouldn't. What is the point? Because I think if we get in the playoffs, Gary Rowett will play the same way that he plays, and it's not a way of winning games. And when you get into the playoffs, it turns into a cup competition. It's a semi-final, and then you get the final, and you need to win the game. And he's not playing to win games, which is now we've just won like 5 out of 6 or whatever it was. What did they? It says there, no, 5 of the last 8. So that you would say, well, that kind of disproves what you're saying, but we didn't play to win those games. Which is, when I say that, it sounds fucking stupid, but although the away one was the one at Sheffield United, that was a good result. That was a good result. We did play to win that game. We played the way we played. I like the way we played. It was a tough game. We got a bit of luck, but that's the thing. So, in order for us to win a game, we need to get a bit of luck, which we didn't get against Derby, which is why we lost. Well, which is why we drew. Why we didn't win the game. You can't rely on luck as being part of your game plan to win a game. You need to actually do something other than that, something proactive to try and win the game. And I think if we get in the playoffs, it's like, so what? You're gonna turn up to you're gonna be all excited. You're going to go queue up for hours, to either online or in person, to get a ticket for the playoff semi-final at the Den. You're going to get down there, and we're not going to score in the first half. We're going to be 1-0 down. They're going to try and come back in the second half, and it's not going to work. And then we're going to go to the second leg and still play defensively. Try and play the counter-attack away, and it's not going to work. Because if they're 1-0 up and they know we're not going to fucking attack them, well, they'll just fucking soak it up. Especially if we sneak into 6th place and we'll end up playing the 3rd team. So, yeah. Are we not insane? No, we're not. No, we're not. We really aren't. And what can I say? It's all been said already, and it just carries on. So nothing will change, and I think until changes get forced, which is you see when players get injured and they have to play certain other players, like and that's when you see, oh, maybe I should have been playing this player all the time. You'll see. We'll see. So we've got this now. So we've got January coming up. January transfer window is approaching, and we've got these little stories that pop up about it every now and then in the past week. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. It says Millwall midfielder likely to be weighing up move options in January transfer window. Gary Rowett expects Ben Thompson to weigh up his options in the January transfer window if he's still out of the first team picture at the Den. The 26-year-old midfielder has played 174 matches for Millwall after coming through the club's youth rank, but has featured once in the Championship this season as an 89th minute sub against Blackpool in August. Thompson has not made the Lions matchday squad for 12 of their 17 league fixtures, failing to make the cut for the most recent 9. The likes of Billy Mitchell and Mikael Ballard have both been selected ahead of Thompson, who has opted to keep his fitness up by playing for Kevin Nugent's under 23s. Yes, which is very notable, and I'm impressed by that. Thompson's contract expires at the end of June, and a further lack of football in the second half of the campaign could hinder his move prospects. It is pretty clear Tomo wants to play football. He has always had that mindset, Millwall boss told Rowett told the South London Press. I've chosen to speak to him on a couple of occasions just to have a conversation about where we are. He's been really good player for this club and wants to play in the under-23s if it's not in the first team. His attitude is fantastic. He's been really good in those games and helped a little bit with his leadership around the younger lads. I can't say enough about good things about him. Exactly, that's my thoughts exactly as well. Until January, he'll continue to be available for selection for the first team. If January comes around and he hasn't played or featured much, then I'm sure he'll be no different. He will want to play football. I'll be more worried if a player was sat there and didn't want to play or get in the first team. Those wouldn't be the right attributes. Thompson has shown all the right things and should be commended for that. It's a similar scenario for Jon Dadi Bodvarsson. The Icelandic international turned down loan options in the summer transfer window. Bodvarsson has not played a minute of Championship football, only making the bench for the September trip to Swansea City. Thompson started in the EFL Cup ties, but the forward has only had an 18-minute cameo in the win over Cambridge United. So yet again, more talk of it's basically a repeat of the summer, because both of these players were big discussions about them leaving, especially it was kind of put on them as well that if we need the money, we've in our budget, if they leave, it frees up money in our budget to improve the team. So it was kind of put on them like it would be nice if you fucked off, but it's up to you. And they said no, I'm fine, I'll stay here. I think the rumour with Jon Dadi Bodvarsson, I don't know if it's a rumour or if it was something that didn't happen, was to Motherwell on loan. I think that was the situation, but that didn't happen. Ben Thompson, of course, Portsmouth, but will they still be interested? I'm not too sure. They got him on loan and he played very well for them. We don't know, so don't know. But Ben Thompson playing for the under-23 is very good. Yeah, fantastic. It's just a shame what's happening to him at the moment. And yeah, we'll see what happens in January. So. Comments being made in second week of November. We are 6 weeks away from January transfer window. Most people, I imagine, are counting down to Christmas. I imagine if you're a footballer, you're counting down to January the 1st. Because if you're out of contract next summer, you get to speak to other clubs. If you can start planning for your future and whatnot. So here we go. Now moving on to news@den.co.uk. Reading this, it seems it was comments made a number of days ago, which have just been reported today in time for the Northern Ireland match, which is today. So Millwall defender has knee injection but should be available for trip to Middlesbrough. Daniel Ballard is a doubt to feature for Northern Ireland over the international break after having an injection in his knee. That meant Ballard couldn't do any training for the majority of this week. Ballard went off in the 74th minute of the 1-1 draw with Derby County last weekend after suffering blurred vision following a clash of heads with Rams defender Lee Buchanan. Ballard was called up by Ian Barrowclough along with Lions teammate George Saville for games against Lithuania on Friday and Italy on Monday in Belfast. Both of those games are in Belfast. Northern Ireland can't qualify for Qatar 2022 with two Group C games left. Now here's the thing, is it still a World Cup qualifier if you cannot qualify for the World Cup? Maybe it's not. Ballard's knee issue is not a major problem, and the defender is set to be available for the trip to Middlesbrough on November 20th. Not a major problem, it's just had an injection in his knee. It's not a major problem for you because you're not the one having a needle stuck in your knee. I imagine it's not ideal. Dan's going to have to go through the concussion protocol anyway, Rout told News at Den when asked for an update earlier this week, but he's felt okay since. He's had previous knee issues, he's been managing it quite well, but it's intermittently limiting him a little bit, so we agreed with Arsenal to get him an injection. Quite a lot of players have had them, which usually means you don't do anything for 3 or 4 days. It helps lubricate the knee a little bit more. I'm not sure whether Dan might meet up with Ireland later in the week or not. Ireland obviously can't qualify anyway. It might be that he meets up for one of the games or doesn't meet up at all. I'm not quite sure at this moment. It hasn't quite been decided. So that's the way that quote comes. It's, I imagine they speak once to Gary Rowett. They ask him a load of questions, and then as the week goes on, they do a story a day about what he's saying, and they've saying here about. So this was probably after the game, and they're speaking about what's happening to Ballard. Is he going, or is he not? Well, I've been looking, and I haven't seen a story where. Well, I did see a story with it 4 days ago from BBC where they said Daniel Ballard was the only injury concern for Northern Ireland, and then it said that the manager hasn't called any other players up, and he hasn't sent Ballard home. So I think he did meet up with them, but today is obviously Friday, so they played the game. So here we have from WhoScored.com the player ratings for that game, and you're going to scroll down. Number 8 is George Saville, and we're going to go through the whole squad and the bench. There is no Danny Ballard on the bench. There's no Danny Ballard on the bench, which is interesting. Northern Ireland have more subs than them as well. That's a bit weird. So Lithuania have got 21 subs, or 21 in their squad, including first team. Northern Ireland have 23. I think it was a 25-man squad. So Danny Ballard not there. So obviously not fit to play. Now that was the game against Lithuania. The next game is against Italy. Now I'm sure they're not going to throw a young lad who's struggling with a dodgy knee into the game against Italy. So I doubt that he'll be involved in that. But is he still with the squad? Has he been sent back? I imagine it's nice for him to get away, go back home to Belfast. I don't know if he's from Belfast, but being in around, maybe he's with the squad, maybe he's with somewhere else in Belfast. But he has played in a lot of games previously, so I imagine he wasn't going to do any training apparently at Millwall anyway. He had to rest his knee for 4 days, so good for him, having a little break. He can come back afterwards on Tuesday, or maybe he can fly straight back after the game on Monday against Italy, and he can get into it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday ahead of the game against Middlesbrough on Saturday up at the Riverside. So George Saville did play, and you can see here, there he is, 6.59. So how is that? Well, I tell you, it's not very good. It's not a very good score. It is the lowest rating of the starting 11 players for Northern Ireland, 6.59. Still mid sixes. It's not absolutely dire. They were only playing Lithuania, so. But the substitutes who came on did not get a higher score than him, so he outranked his replacement, which is good to see. The best player for Northern Ireland and man of the match was the centre back. The next two players were centre back, so I imagine a lot of defensive duties going on for Northern Ireland. So that's if you haven't got a lot to do, you're not going to get a good score. So I imagine that's. I didn't watch the game. Reading the stats, that seems what's happened here. If you don't have a lot to do, you can't get a good stat number because you don't have a lot to do. So in terms of touches, so George Saville 8th with 45 touches. It's kind of weird how it's yeah. Shots, did he have a shot? I don't think he did. Shane Ferguson had a couple of shots. 2 shots, 1 on target. Good for him. If we go through and see, so George Saville 2 shots, none on target. No key passes. Passing accuracy 80.7, and as we've seen, 45 touches. So what does that mean? So he got fouled twice. He had 5 instances of poor ball control, which is not good. It's probably what explains why he got substituted there. And that was the highest for the Northern Ireland team, 5. Ouch. Against Lithuania today. Okay. Defensively, did he do anything? 3 tackles, which, wow, that's the most of all the players. Even the defenders. He had more tackles than the 3 centre-backs combined. Oh, now they had interceptions, but so he didn't have any interceptions, didn't have any clearances, didn't have any blocked shots. He gave away 1 foul. Passing wise, we've seen he had 80.7, but what does that mean? He only had 31 passes, so not a high sample number to be praising at 80.7. Didn't have any crosses. He did 2 long balls and they were both accurate. Imagine that was either to Josh McGuinness or Connor Washington. So there you go. All in all, pretty average game for George Saville. And Northern Ireland only winning 1-0 against Lithuania, but a win it was. And no Danny Ballard. So big game coming up on Monday for them against Italia. I doubt Ballard will play. Saville should play. I mean, he's one of their better players. But you never know. You never know. Maybe they won't play any midfielders and play 10 defenders. I don't know. So there you go. That's it for today's Millwall news. Thank you for watching and goodbye.